Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review, a demo, some swatches, and a wear test. And I'm basically going to give you guys all the information I possibly could fit into this video on this new concealer. Too Faced was kind enough to send me all 20 of the concealer shades. So thank you so much, Too Faced, if you're watching. I really appreciate it, and they made it possible for me to swatch every single concealer that they have for you guys to make it easier for you guys to find your perfect shade. So huge shout out to Too Faced for doing that. That's awesome, and I'm super excited to try out this concealer. Okay, so without further ado, I don't want this video to be too long, so let's just jump right into the video. Alright guys, so I'm here with just foundation and brows on because my next step usually in my makeup routine is to do my concealer. I did use a different concealer under my eyebrows just to carve those out and get them out of the way. So today, of course, we're testing out the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. It comes in a really cute pink packaging. I love that about Too Faced, is their packaging is absolutely adorable. Super pink, there's little gold accents, and the writing's in black, of course. So when you take it out of the packaging, it just looks like this. It's kind of similar to just what the foundation looks like. The Born This Way foundation has the gold accents, black accents. Pretty simple, standard, but very pretty and elegant nonetheless. On the front, it just says Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and in the bottom, it says Super Coverage. So when you take the applicator out, it kind of has a standard doe foot, but there is a little bit of a slant to it, probably to make application a little bit easier. So the shade I'm going to be using today is Swan because that's what's listed as the lightest shade on the website. So on the Too Faced site, it says that this concealer retails for $29, and that is compared to the Tarte Shape Tape, which is retailing at $27, and MAC Pro Longwear, which is also one of my holy grail concealers and a concealer that a lot of people use, that is $24. So this is a bit pricier of a concealer, but as you can see, compared to my hand, it's absolutely huge. I thought this was a foundation at first when I got this in PR, but it is just a very large concealer, so you do get a lot of product. It says that you get 0.50 fluid ounces or 15 milliliters. For the MAC Pro Longwear, you get 0.3 fluid ounces, and for Tarte Shape Tape, you get 0.3 fluid ounces as well, so that seems to be the standard. So you are getting a lot more product, about 0.2 ounces more, which is obviously why the price is a bit more. It's a very large concealer. So I am going to go ahead and swatch all these on my arm, only because I want you to see the difference in the undertones, because there are some with pink, there's some with neutral, and there's some with yellow undertones. So I want you guys to kind of see the difference. I know it's kind of hard to tell through a screen, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do swatches, fluorescent lighting, like these lights that I'm filming with, and I'm also going to take it outside so you guys can see it in natural lighting. So maybe this will kind of help you to see what shade you might be. And of course, I'm not going to be able to wear all these concealers. Maybe one or two will be my skin tone, but the rest I do want to swatch for you guys, but I am going to use a cotton swab to swatch them on my arm, so the swatches might not be the cleanest, but I do want to keep these sanitary because I do want to give them away to someone who can use them, because obviously I can't use 20 different concealer shades. Alright guys, so now we're going to get into the swatches. I know this is a weird angle, hello, but this is where I'm going to be swatching them for you guys. And I have my cotton buds here to swatch them with, so when I give them away to people, they will be sanitary. I am just going to go off of the website from the lightest shade to the darkest shade. There are 20 shades in total. They have a pretty great shade range, but I will let you be the judge of it. So the first shade we have is Swan, which is the lightest shade, which is the shade that I'm wearing on my face today because I am quite pale. And I'm just going to swatch it out of the bottle because it's the shade that I'm going to be keeping, so it doesn't matter if it gets on my skin. And Swan is described as the fairest shade with neutral undertones. So for the next lightest shade, we have Snow, and on the website, Snow is described as a fairest shade with neutral to rosy undertones. The next shade that comes up is Almond. Almond is described as very fair with golden undertones. The next shade we have is Porcelain. Porcelain is described as very fair with neutral undertones. Next we have the shade Vanilla. Vanilla is described as fair with neutral undertones. So next up we have the shade Nude, and Nude is described as very light with rosy undertones. The next shade we have is Golden Beige. Golden Beige is described as light with golden undertones. Next up we have light beige, and light beige is described as light with neutral to rosy undertones. So next up we have natural beige. Natural beige is described as light medium with neutral undertones. Next up we have warm beige. Warm beige is described as medium with neutral undertones. Kind of just feel like there's 50 shades of beige on my arm right now, but we're getting there. So next we have the shade sand. Sand is described as medium with golden undertones. So now we have warm sand. Warm sand is described as tan with golden undertones. But next up we have honey. Honey is described as tan with neutral to rosy undertones. So next up we have the shade butterscotch. Butterscotch is described as a rich tan with neutral undertones. So next we have the shade mocha. And mocha is described as a rich tan with rosy undertones. I'm kind of running out of room. I hope I have enough to swatch these last few. So next we have the shade maple. Maple is described as deep with rosy undertones. So next up we have the shade chestnut. And chestnut is described as deep with neutral undertones. Next up we have the shade mahogany. Mahogany is described as very deep with golden undertones. And next up we have the shade toffee. Toffee is described as deepest with golden undertones. Last but not least we have the shade cocoa. And cocoa is described as deepest with neutral undertones. So I'm trying to show you guys all the shades as best I can, but as you can see, there is a wide range of shades to choose from. It's obvious that they did try to make something for everyone. Maybe they'll make some in-between shades, something like that. But I think this is a good start for a concealer launch. So right here I'm showing you them in fluorescent light, just with the softbox and ring light to light them. And right now I'll be showing you them in natural light, where I just went outside and showed you them in the sunlight. So I hope these little swatches helped you to find your shade. Maybe it showed you the difference between the undertones. If maybe you don't have an Ulta or a Sephora near you to test them out yourself, I hope that this was helpful for some of you guys. Let's talk about the claims for this concealer. On the Too Faced website, the details say that it is an oil-free, non-comedogenic formula. It says it can be used to conceal, contour, highlight, and retouch. Sounds good. It also says that it is weightless, hydrating, so skin is never dry or cakey, which is a very big claim. I love Tarte Shape Tape, but it does leave me dry under the eyes, so I could definitely use something a little bit more hydrating. It says that it is long wearing for 12 hours, which is a long time to be wearing makeup. I don't think I can wear mine that long, but we can put it to the test. I am going to do a wear test in this video, so stay tuned for that. And the last claim it says is that it is photo friendly and there is no flashback, so we will be testing that as well to be sure that claim is true. There's a lot of claims of it being super coverage. That's what I keep seeing all over the website. Also, it says that it is cruelty free and vegan, so if you are a cruelty free vegan person out there, this concealer might be for you. Okay, so I think I'm ready to just put this on my face. I'm really interested to try it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this under the eyes like I normally would. A lot comes off the doe foot. I've only dipped in once, and there's like plenty underneath my eyes. I really kind of want to go ham with this concealer just to see what its full potential is. I'm gonna go ahead and also highlight on my forehead and on my chin. Alright, so on this side of my face, I'm going to go ahead and use this Morphe blending sponge to give it a test with a sponge. And on this side, I'm going to go ahead and use a brush to blend it out. It seems to be blending in really nicely. It's really like melting into the skin. Might have put a little too much. It looks like that a little bit goes a long way, so I definitely added a bit much. It definitely covered a lot of the redness on my chin, which is great because it does claim to be really full coverage. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use a Sigma 3D HD Kabuki brush and blend in this side to see if there's a difference. It seems to be a little bit more difficult to blend with the brush. It's kind of looking a little dry. it was blending a lot more smoothly with the sponge. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the sponge. I definitely would say to use this with a sponge. I think because it is more hydrating, you need to use the dampened sponge to blend it out to get that more seamless look. So first impression, it's blending super nicely. I absolutely love it with a sponge. It doesn't look cakey at all, not hugging any fine lines or creating any creasing. It is definitely full coverage. Like, I feel like I look face-tuned right now in real life. I'm loving it so far. I think it looks absolutely amazing on the skin. It blended out flawlessly. There's no creasing or anything yet, but I gotta stop talking so I can go ahead and set it. So I'm gonna use 2 different setting powders just to kind of see if there's a difference between the 2. I don't want to just use one and then blame it on the concealer when it could actually be the setting powder causing an issue. So the first one that I'm gonna use is the Huda Beauty setting powder, and I'm gonna use that on one side of my face, and then on the other side of my face I'm gonna set it with the MAC Patrick Star powder, which is one of my favorites. So first I'm just going to be using the Huda Beauty Sugar Cookie setting powder on this side of my face. So it seems like it's looking okay now that it's set, because that's usually when things can go wrong for concealers, when you add some powder to them. And now on this side of my face, I'm going to go ahead and use the MAC Patrick Star powder. So they're both looking pretty good initially being set with powder. And then over the rest of my face, I'm just going to use the MAC Patrick Star powder to set my forehead area, my chin, and any other areas that might get oily throughout the day. This is looking really good. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick flash test for you guys to test out that no flashback claim that it had on the website. Okay, so we did the flashback test and I didn't notice any real flashback. I feel like my face looks fine, but I don't feel like I look like Flashback Mary, so it's a good sign. I'm gonna go ahead and apply my makeup off camera. It's currently 11:54. Oh my god, my phone just died. So if you saw before it died, it was 11:54, I believe, but I am gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup, charge my phone up a little bit, and I will come right back and we will see how it lasts throughout the makeup applying process. Alright guys, so we are back. I have the rest of my makeup on for the day. I have some other videos to film and stuff like that, but I'm just going to check in real quick to show you how the concealer did throughout the time of doing my makeup. It looks like it's separating a little bit on the nose and under the eyes a little bit. Looks a little funky. Zoom you guys in so you can maybe see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's showing up as well on camera. When I was over there doing my makeup in my regular mirror, I could see it a little bit more prominently, but these lights kind of diffuse things and make them look better than they actually are. But it looks like underneath here there's a little bit of separation, and on my nose definitely there seems to be a little bit of separation, if you can see. My chin looks good. My forehead looks pretty good. And I hate that it's not super obvious in the camera right now, but my under eyes, I don't know, there's just like a little bit of bunching up right in this region and on my nose. If you remember, I did use 2 different powders, so I don't know if maybe that's causing it. Maybe I need to use less powder. Maybe it's not meshing well with this foundation I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Wet n Wild Cushion foundation. The current time is 12:52. I'm just gonna go ahead and film some other videos, go throughout my day, and I will check in with you guys a little bit later to show you how it's doing. Alright guys, so it's currently 5:36. I've been outside sweating. I've been filming other videos. I took a nap actually, so I've been really putting this foundation to the test. It's been a few hours. It's been about 5 hours maybe. So let's take a look. So I do still see a little bit of separating right here on both sides of my nose. The actual nose looks okay, but that might be because some of it's sweated off, because I did a nose contour and as well as powdered my face, so I don't know if that's maybe the issue. But my forehead looks good and my chin looks pretty good. There's absolutely no cakiness at all. It's just this weird separating. But yeah, not super bad for the first check-in. A little bit of separating on the sides of the nose. But otherwise it looks really good and I'm actually super happy with it, especially on the forehead. Like, there's absolutely no creasing, and I usually get a lot of creasing on the forehead. I have a really deep forehead line right here, so seems good so far. And before I take it off tonight, I will give you one last final check-in. Okay, so now we are back for the final check-in of the night. It's currently 8:21 p.m. I know it might seem a little early to be taking off my makeup, but I'm absolutely exhausted. I've been wearing this makeup absolutely all day and I'm just ready to take it off, put a sheet mask on, and give my skin a break. But we did wear it from about 11:30, 12 o'clock till now, but I've done absolutely no touch-ups other than touching up the one side of my highlighter that did kind of rub off when I took a nap earlier. I could use some powder because I am looking a little bit dewy, but otherwise I feel like my skin looks really good. So let's just take a closer look. Oddly enough, I feel like it got better throughout the day, probably because the oils of my face was mixing with it and making it a little bit smoother. So here's just a zoomed in look at my skin. See, it's still breaking up around these areas. I'm not sure if it's showing up as much on camera, but in person you can definitely see it. As you can see, my forehead looks good. My chin's breaking up a little bit now, so we won't talk about that, but overall my skin looks really nice. And the areas that I applied the concealer, other than the sides of my nose, which is really weird, is looking pretty good. I would go out still wearing this. I feel like it looks really good, especially from far away on camera. I feel like my skin looks really good as well. Something I think I'm gonna have to try is trying this out with a different foundation. It seems like with this foundation it didn't react well for some reason because I used 2 separate powders on each side of my face, so I can't be the powder unless I added too much powder. So overall, I think I'm gonna have to give this concealer a thumbs up. I'm just gonna have to play around with it a little bit more. The coverage of it is absolutely amazing. There's no flashback, which is awesome. There's a really good color range, so there should be something for everyone. I will definitely keep using it, trying it out with different products, and I'll keep you guys updated on my Instagram if I'm using it with different foundations and stuff like that, so you guys can follow me there to keep up to date. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know down below if you guys enjoyed this review, if you're looking into getting the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and if there's any other products that you guys want me to review, let me know down below as well. I can definitely do that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. It helps me out so much. Also turn on the notification bell because YouTube is doing this weird thing where people aren't getting notified when videos are posted. So do that so you guys can keep up to date on my videos. And I think that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.